Jalen Brunson's story is genuinely insane.
Oh, Brunson drives, pulls back, three-pointer, bang! Bang! Jalen Brunson knocks it down!
And I mean that, because we are talking about a guy who was told at every single level that he was too small, too slow, not athletic enough, not good enough to survive the next step. A second-round pick that nobody believed in. And now he is the heartbeat of one of the most iconic franchises in basketball history. This is how it actually happened. Growing up in NBA locker rooms, Jalen Brunson grew up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and his connection to basketball started before he could even understand what basketball was. His father, Rick, was a professional player. 9 years in the NBA, multiple teams, a legitimate career at the highest level. Because of that, Jalen basically grew up inside NBA locker rooms, not visiting them, living in them. When Rick was with the Knicks, Jalen was around Madison Square Garden so often that the ushers and attendants knew him by name. His mother, Sandra, noticed that his only real friends were Knicks stars Larry Johnson and Marcus Camby. She had to enroll him in pre-K just so he could socialize with actual kids his own age.
I just remember like when I used to meet like players like that, like it became normal. When I used to bring friends around, like, oh, like you met this person, that person. Like, yeah, I met him, but I see him all the time.
The man was networking with NBA players before he started kindergarten. Honestly, that is the most New York thing possible. But growing up around the game the way he did meant one thing was crystal clear to Jalen from a very young age. He wanted to play, not just play around. Play for real, like his dad.
The love of basketball was evident to me, honestly, since the day I was born. I was always surrounded by it.
Then in 2006, when Jalen was 10 years old, something happened that changed everything. He tagged along with Rick to a preseason practice with the 76ers, and when they arrived, Rick was told he had been cut. His career was over, and Rick knew he was going to retire rather than chase another non-guaranteed contract somewhere. Before leaving that locker room, he looked at his basketball-obsessed son and said something that stuck with Jalen for the rest of his life. If you really want this, you have got to work like nobody's business. That sentence built a career. The kid who refused to quit after Rick's playing days ended his coaching career began, and that came with real instability for the Brunson family. They moved 7 times over the coming years following different coaching jobs. 7 times. Most kids in that situation would either resent the sport or lose focus entirely. Jalen did neither. Through every move, through every new school and new city, basketball was the one constant. In 7th grade, he quit every other sport to focus exclusively on basketball. No football, no baseball, nothing else. Just hoops. And that is also when his dad became his personal trainer. They trained together 3 times a week through middle school and eventually moved to daily sessions in high school. Rick was not running some casual father-son shooting around either. This was rigorous, structured work designed to build a real player. The family eventually settled in Lincolnshire, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago, and that stability finally let Jalen plant roots somewhere. He went to Stevenson High School, and it did not take long for all that work to show up on the court. As a freshman, he earned All-Lake County honorable mention, already making noise. But sophomore year is when things got serious. Stevenson went on a 19-game winning streak that season, riding all the way to the state championship game against 3-time defending champions Simeon Career Academy, a team led by Jabari Parker and Kendrick Nunn. Stevenson lost 58-40. Jalen was held to 1 point in the entire second half, a result that would have broken a lot of 15-year-olds, 5 points per game, and was named All-State second team, the only sophomore on the All-State list. That detail matters because it tells you exactly what kind of competitor he was even then. Junior year, he went absolutely stupid. Stevenson went 32-1, made it to the semifinals, and Jalen dropped 56 points in a single game against Jahlil Okafor's Whitney Young High School. 56 points in a high school game. They still lost 75-68, which is either a testament to how good that Whitney Young team was, or just the universe messing with Jalen specifically. 9 steals per game, 1 Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Illinois, was the only junior named to the All-State first team. The national recruitment attention came flooding in. 5-star recruit, #1 ranked player in the entire state, scholarship offers from over 8 colleges, and before his senior season, he announced his commitment to Villanova. Senior year, he set the career scoring record for Lake County and finally led Stevenson to a state championship. Dropped 30 points in a 57-40 win.
That is great to see. Enjoy the moment for your teammate.
What a way to go out.
Yes.
And your 4A champions, the Stevenson Patriots.
He talked about hugging his parents after that game as one of the most emotional moments of his life.
It was just so emotional that day. I can't even explain it. I mean, it was one of the best times of my life. Hugging my parents after the game, I'm obviously not going to forget. There's so many rare moments me and my dad have a moment like that, and it was just really emotional.
I couldn't hold it in, I broke down because I just know how special it is.
And knowing how many times that team had come up short before, that lands differently. Illinois Mr. Basketball, Gatorade Player of the Year again. The chapter was closed, and it was closed on top. Villanova and winning everything. Jalen arrived at Villanova as the top recruit, and the pressure to perform immediately was real. He performed immediately. With Brunson as a starter, the Wildcats finished the season as the 6th ranked team in the country, and when the NCAA tournament started, he was ready. Villanova went on a run all the way to the Elite 8, where they faced the #1 overall team in the country, Kansas. Both teams traded blows until the very end. Brunson hit 2 clutch free throws to ice the game. They dismantled Oklahoma in the Final Four, and then played one of the greatest national championship games in college basketball history against North Carolina. Chris Jenkins hit a buzzer beater 3 to win the whole thing.
To Jenkins for the championship. The national champions. Jenkins hitting the winner.
Jalen was a starter on a national championship team as a freshman. Not bad for a kid who everyone said would struggle at the next level. Sophomore year, he went from complimentary piece to genuine star. 1 assist. He was a unanimous All Big East first team selection. The Wildcats got bounced in the second round of the tournament that year, but that was just setting up what came next. Junior year is when he became undeniably the best player in college basketball. He was the go-to guy now, and the challenge was not proving he belonged. It was doing everything right to keep everyone involved while still carrying the team. 6 assists per game, and when March came around, Villanova was on a completely different level. They won every tournament game by double digits and claimed another national championship, back-to-back titles. Brunson won practically every major award college basketball hands out, National Player of the Year, the whole thing, 2 championships. It was one of the greatest individual college basketball careers ever assembled from start to finish. And then the NBA draft happened, and the experts proceeded to be completely fucking wrong about everything, falling through the draft and finding his footing. The 2018 NBA draft was loaded at the top. DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, Trae Young, legitimate generational talents at the front of the board, but there were real players scattered throughout that draft too. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 11, Michael Porter Jr. at 14, Anthony Simons at 24, and then at the 33rd pick, the 3rd pick of the second round, the Dallas Mavericks selected Jalen Brunson from Villanova University.
With the 33rd pick in the 2018 NBA draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Jalen Brunson from Villanova University.
The same draft they used to select Luka Doncic at number 3. Dallas walked out of that draft with Luka and Jalen, one of the most absurd steals in modern draft history. Why did Brunson fall so far? NBA scouts looked at his size and his athleticism and convinced themselves his game would not translate. Too small by NBA standards, not athletic enough to defend at this level, projected as a career backup at best, a noob mistake from organizations that should have known better. The guy won 2 national championships and every individual award the sport offers, and somehow 32 teams passed on him. His first season was quiet by necessity. He was buried on the depth chart behind Dennis Smith Jr. and Luka Doncic. But he was not wasting the limited opportunities he got. He put up 22 points in a start filling in for Luka, then later dropped 34 on the Spurs. By the end of the year, he had established himself as the team's 6th man and proved Dallas could lean on him when Luka needed rest. Then in his second season, shoulder surgery to repair a torn labrum ended his year early. All the momentum he had built was now in question. You genuinely cannot know how a player comes back from a major injury like that. But Brunson came back better. 3rd season, he set career highs across the board, 4 rebounds, the Mavs finished 5th in the West, and Jalen got his first playoff experience. It went badly. Dallas lost in 7 games. His numbers dropped in every category from the regular season. His plus-minus was -56 for the series. Rough does not cover it. After that, Dallas declined to extend him. They did pick up his team option for year 4, which meant they gotta watch what happened next up close before it was too late. The season that changed everything year 4. Brunson came back with something to prove, and the Mavs finally named him a starter. That decision paid off immediately. During a stretch where Luka went down with an injury, Brunson was averaging close to 20 points and 6 assists, carrying the team, 9 rebounds. Dallas finished 4th in the West, and for Jalen, the real business was the playoffs. First round against the Jazz. Luka missed the first 3 games with injury. Brunson absolutely took over. Game 2, 41 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. Game 3, 31 points and 6 assists. Without their superstar, Dallas was leading the series 2-1. The whole basketball world was watching this guy and saying, wait, who is this? 8 rebounds, rebounds. Absurd numbers. Second round against the Suns, he was excellent again. 7 points. A year after the worst playoff series of his career, he helped lead the Mavericks to the conference finals. He had proven he was for real. He had also played himself entirely out of Dallas's price range. They offered 4 years at $55 million during the season. He turned it down. By the time it was over, they could not afford what he was actually worth. Coming home to New York, multiple teams wanted Brunson that summer, but one destination made too much sense to ignore. The New York Knicks had hired his father Rick as an assistant coach. Team president Leon Rose was Jalen's former agent. His two best friends were already on the roster, and it was the same franchise he had grown up around as a child. Wandering the garden halls while his dad played for the '99 team, he signed a 4-year, $104 million contract and became a New York Knick. A full circle moment that genuinely does not happen in real life. The impact was immediate, and it was enormous. The Knicks had made one playoff appearance in the previous 9 years. Their offensive rating had been 22nd in the league the year before Brunson arrived. With him running the offense, it jumped to 3rd. They went from 11th in the East to 5th, 2 assists per game. In the playoffs, he led them to their first series win since 2012, eliminating Cleveland 4-1, while leading all scorers with 24 points per game. Against the Heat, in the second round, he dropped 41 points in a Game 6 elimination game and averaged 31 for the series. They lost, but nobody was blaming Jalen Brunson. Becoming the face of New York Year 2 in New York is when things went from very good to absolutely shit your pants remarkable, 7 assists per game. He hit a career-high 61 points against San Antonio. He tied the NBA record for most three-pointers in a game without a miss, 9 for 9 against the Suns. He scored 40 or more in back-to-back games. He set the Knicks record for 30-point games in a single season, and for the first time in his career, he was named an All-Star, standing in Madison Square Garden with thousands of fans chanting MVP at him. The kid who grew up knowing the ushers at that arena by name. It means everything. The Knicks finished 2nd in the East. First round, they faced the 76ers with Joel Embiid freshly returned from injury. Most people expected New York to lose. Instead, Brunson did something that had not been done in the playoffs since Michael Jordan. For the final 3 games of that series, he put up 3 consecutive 40-plus point performances. 4 straight 40-point playoff games total. He was on another planet. They won and moved on to the Pacers. Then the injuries started. Mitchell Robinson went down, OG Anunoby's hamstring, Josh Hart hurt. And in Game 7, Brunson fractured his left hand and still played. They lost the series, but what Jalen did that entire postseason run was genuinely one of the most impressive individual playoff performances in recent memory. The undersized second-round pick who nobody wanted. The kid every expert said would top out as a career backup. Standing in the building he grew up in, carrying a franchise that needed saving, playing through a broken hand, because that is just who he is. The work Rick told him about in that 76ers locker room in 2006. That is where this all comes from. Every move, every session, every loss that made him work harder, it all led here. If you liked watching this, drop a like and let me know in the comments. Where does Jalen Brunson rank among the best point guards in the league for you right now?